So if you are a fan of the internet, and why would you be? It absolutely sucks. You have probably had to run into this recently, and I'm not going to say it. I'm going to let the phone do it for you.
You never liked her before WWE.
If you took any kind of interest that Giulia, the Stardom superstar, or the Marigold superstar, was headed to WWE or NXT, somebody... You had to prove your worth, right? Somebody came out of nowhere and said, what match did he have on the 18th of December, 2022? And if you guys have no idea what you're talking about, they're like, ha, I knew you weren't a real Giulia fan. I am now going to gatekeep you and block you out of this fandom. And even if you think about supporting her, I will be there, mostly on Twitter, to tell you why you're completely wrong. Now, this ties into an even bigger argument when it does come to professional wrestling. And quite frankly, I hate it. And I divide it into two separate categories that very sadly have the same word. Should really come up with another word. I guess you could call them nerds and geeks. For now we will. It doesn't really tie in, but I need two words. Now, if you're a nerd like you and I, we just really like wrestling. We like being nerdy about wrestling. We like enjoying wrestling. Wrestling is our pastime and wrestling makes us happy. So if we want to nerd out about wrestling, that's totally cool. However, if you're a geek, and again, it's fine to be a geek, I'm just using it in order to have a different description here. If you're a geek, my word, you're annoying. Nobody wants you around because you watch this stuff. You probably do it with Marvel, DC, and football, and who knows what is, but you just watch it in a horrible, horrible way as far as I'm concerned. Now listen, it's awesome that you know who Giulia was the day she popped out of her mother's womb onto this earth, but some people cannot keep up with every single professional wrestler that is walking the earth today. It is just not possible. Some people just enjoy popping their toe in and popping their toe out. When somebody does arrive in a company that they're used to, that's interesting. Yeah, maybe they'll watch some clips on social media, maybe they'll watch some YouTube matches, maybe they'll just be a fan of them for what they do in WWE or NXT or AEW or wherever it may be. Now listen, this isn't a discussion about whether we should have big video packages. We should always have big video packages. I am very much a man of a certain time in pro wrestling, and some of my favorite memories are the Razor Ramon stuff, the Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man stuff, the Mr. Perfect stuff, because it just made it feel like, oh wow, I've got to keep an eye on this guy. It's going to be incredible. Sometimes companies do it, sometimes they don't. You can argue it's easier to discover now, again, by using Google, but I think this stuff should be spoon-fed to you every now and then. But there should be no rule, there should be no animosity or controversy if somebody just, even if they see Giulia on day one, she just had her debut against Chelsea Green 24 hours ago in NXT, and even off that, what was it, 8-minute match? I don't know. But even off that, somebody goes, wow, she's my new favorite wrestler because she looks like this, or she had that back and forth with Roxanne Perez in the back. If that's all it takes for somebody to become the number one fan, they're allowed to do it. Now, you can say that you're a better fan, but that's a stupid word. No word should come before the word fan. Not hardcore fan, not casual fan. A fan is a fan. As long as it's making people watch professional wrestling, or it gets people to watch NXT, or it gets somebody behind Giulia, then we're doing everything right. That's the other thing. If you are genuinely a supporter of this person, you should want as many individuals as possible to get behind them. I understand you don't want detractors because you want to protect them. That's what we do as humans too. But to try and stop extra support coming into this life, I think you're totally nuts, and I think you're totally crazy, because that person's never going to make it to the super big time anyway. Because let's face it, I'm not referencing Giulia here, she's very talented, but some people have no talent, but they have such a big following, they do get to the tippity top because that is how the world works. I'm just sick of it. It's like when somebody's wearing a band t-shirt. How many songs do you know? Why does it matter to you? It makes absolutely no difference. It doesn't affect your life in any way. And all it does do is that it sends messages out to people that aren't watching every single day. We don't want you here. And we do want people here. As long as they're good people and not going to come in and be anti-Semitic or racist or transphobic or anything like that. If they are good people, come in, join the shebang. There was that very famous actress. I know her from that sitcom. I can see her in my mind's eye, but I can't remember her name. She magically watched wrestling one day, and the bad side of the community picked up on this, and they hounded her out. Because they said, you don't know this and you don't know that. You cannot wear your fandom as if it is your feelings, right? You just cannot do it. I understand some people like to have wrestling as an affectation. I totally get it. You're the wrestling guy. You're the wrestling girl. That's what you do. That's what you want to be known for. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. But you can't all of a sudden shut the door in other people's faces. It's not right. And also, the industry isn't going to grow to a point that you're going to get what you want out of it anyway. I find it mad that somebody could actually be slighted because somebody else doesn't know that Giulia came from Stardom or went to Marigold or doesn't know the situation about that company splitting up. I don't care if somebody's ever seen a Giulia match before. I don't care if you like Giulia because she changes her hairstyle all the time. couldn't give a hoot, right? I'll be completely honest. I was aware of her from afar because I'm very blessed to do this as a job, but I couldn't have told you her best match. I couldn't have told you her best opponents. I probably could have pointed out sort of a clip I'd seen here or there. And it's only been the last maybe year, 18 months when her name really picked up steam that I was like, okay, well, I feel like I should educate myself about this because I like to know about the up-and-coming superstars because it helps me make videos. But if there is somebody else that comes along and catches me out of nowhere, I'm not going to judge them. I'm not going to worry about what they've done before or after. I would just, see them on my television set and I will make a decision. I don't need wrestling fan 9724 with an egg profile telling me that I'm totally wrong for doing this. Now, I'm very lucky in the sense that I have been doing this for so long. I have a thick skin. There's few things people can say to me that actually upset me, which is why if we ever do get into a hoo-ha on social media, I am kidding. I just want to throw it out there as a little asterisk. And if I'm being serious, I always say I'm being serious here because I like to make a differentiation between the two. But there are other people that are not. And hounded is the only word I can come up with because it's not fair because they want to have that same experience that pro wrestling gives you, right? That magic, that wonder, that fun that comes from the industry has found its way into their lap. And if all of a sudden you're there, and if you're taking offense to this, it means you're that guy, right? Which is why I'm able to do this. And if you are there to chase them away, it's just not cool and it has to stop. And there has been not a huge situation around Giulia, but more than I've seen for a while. And you kind of see people popping up saying, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to see what this Giulia person's all about. Oh wow, I really liked her match against Chelsea Green. And so you can find the replies. I'm not going to put them here. I was going to. I thought, no, these people don't deserve any kind of advertising whatsoever. But the replies are, man, you've only seen her Chelsea Green match. You haven't seen what she did on this day. No, because maybe they were outside doing something else. But it is something that I think needs to go away. And of course, it's not exclusive to pro wrestling. I mean, I'm a big soccer, football fan. The tribalism over there is absolutely crazy, right? If you don't know certain historical figures, you should be kicked out the window. And again, I want to make a differentiation there too. Of course, if you want to get into wrestling, you should probably educate yourself as much as possible. And as a fan, you should too, because you'll learn more and it will allow you to appreciate the product. It's why I would always advise everyone, go to at least one wrestling training session. It would change your life. It would change your fandom. It's like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how much went into all of this. But anybody's allowed to be a fan in any different way. You can watch NXT once a week. You can watch Raw once a year. You can watch SmackDown every single Friday until the day that you die. You're all considered fans. And we can put all these prefixes on them and stuff. It doesn't change anything. You're still going to be spending money when you want to. And actually, there's probably another video I could have made. I find it incredibly disparaging by a lot of the old guard who used to be in wrestling. And listen, I respect what they did in the ring and they're allowed their opinions. But there is this horrible idea that, oh, we don't have to worry about that. I'll use a term here. I'm being a hypocrite, but I understand why it can be held as a descriptor. We don't need to worry about the hardcore fans because they're going to turn up anyway. I mean, that is true. If you are a hardcore fan and you want to get behind something, you will turn up. But that means you probably deserve a little extra pat on the back. It's actually why I quite enjoy AEW sticking to its guns sometimes and being like, no, we are going to do something nuts for the sickos because the sickos turn up every single week. I think that's important. I think one of the biggest problems with WWE when it was in the doldrums between 2017, 19, maybe smaller than that, you know what I'm talking about, is that we did just rest on our laurels and go, well, they're going to come back. So screw them. There are reports from ex-writers that said that Vince McMahon, we used the 2019 Hell in a Cell, Seth Rollins and Bray Wyatt laughed at the negative fan reaction and said, screw them. That is the exact attitude that you do not want, okay? Even if we'll go with Steve and Karen and Lucy and Radiator Face, because there's a radiator over there, even if they had decided they're going to watch every single Dynamite until they don't want to do it, until the wheels fall off, then they do deserve a little something extra there and there. You don't just go, well, they're going to come back anyway, so who cares about it? A lot of this does tie into All Out and the crazy unsanctioned match, which still makes me laugh. And certain folk being like, oh, well, they're going to run off everybody else now. They're going to run off kids. And man, we'll just do it for the hardcore fans. It's good that we do stuff for the hardcore fans. And it's good that we do stuff for the casual fans. And it's good that we do stuff for the kiddie fans. And let's say, all of a sudden, AEW is not considered a child-friendly promotion anymore. Because yes, we did try and kill Bryan Danielson and Hangman Page. I love it so much. Definitely tried to kill Swerve Strickland. That's nothing to do with All Elite Wrestling. That's nothing to do with professional wrestling. That's what a parent is for. That's what mum and dad is for. There was someone in my family a long time ago. Their kid, who was about 7 years old, was playing Grand Theft Auto. You can call me a narc. You can call me a snitch. I went to that mother. Again, it was in my family, right? I said, you really shouldn't be letting them play Grand Theft Auto. And then when they actually watched it, they were horrified. Because that's what people do. And then all of a sudden, people start pointing the blame at GTA. It's not GTA's fault. It's got a big 18 rating on it over here in the UK. So I don't want to hear any of this stuff anymore. Me shouting into the abyss is a waste of my own oxygen and breath. But you are allowed to do crazy, flubbed up shit in wrestling. And an adult is allowed to go, that is crazy, flubbed up shit. My kid is not allowed to watch it. That is the proper and correct thing to do. You're allowed to be defended. You're allowed to turn off the television, but also promoters are allowed to cater for their hardcore audience without people freaking out. And yes, we can bring in a superstar from around the world, an indie star, whatever we want to call it, and people can jump on that bandwagon instantly, even if they don't mean it. This is the other thing. Even if there is no truth to the love that they are bringing into the situation, okay, they're still going to support them. And if they start saying facts that aren't true, absolutely call them out for that. I mean, do it in a certain way. If they're mean facts, you're allowed to be a bit like, hey man, what's going on here? But if they're just wrong, try and not drag people up, try and pick people up. Stop dragging people down. Stop kicking them in the face and start punching up a little bit more. But I want more people to watch wrestling. I don't want less. Who's my favorite wrestler right now? Kevin Owens, maybe Cody Rhodes, maybe Kenny Omega. I don't know. We'll go with Kevin Owens, right? Kevin Owens is probably one of my favorite modern wrestlers because I think the way that he approaches the modern product is basically near perfect. If all of a sudden little Joey, who I've just made up, right? Joe, how's it going? If all of a sudden little Joey, who is actually 17 years old, because I don't want to start yelling at children, if all of a sudden they want to like Kevin Owens and they like it because they have a brother called Kevin and Kevin's their favorite person ever, how does that affect me? How does that change my life? It doesn't. I can still enjoy Kevin Owens for what he is. And from Kevin Owens' point of view, he now has an extra fan, probably going to buy some merchandise, may buy a ticket to see him in WWE, probably going to get him a bigger contract down the line. This is good stuff, and this is what we need. I think wrestling just needs to be a little bit more encompassing and more welcoming, because it's stupid, man. It's a bunch of people rolling around the floor in their underwear. And again, I absolutely love it. I was in Canada last weekend for Alpha One Wrestling. Check it out. I'll make sure I put a link in the description below. And it was just the best time, and it's a memory I'll have for the rest of my days. And of course you can have that as a fan as well. People plan their holidays around WrestleMania. And I know some people came to All In Wembley Stadium to do the same thing. That was their big summer holiday because they love wrestling so much. And I do not want these people being chased away. So when we are building a brand new superstar, or we are shouting about, oh my gosh, you can't believe it when you're going to see this guy, shout out to Hologram, he's someone's making the rounds right now too. Let them all in. And if they really aren't passionate, they're going to fall out again anyway. But enough with this gatekeeping. That's all I've done here. I've gone on a big rant about gatekeeping, but gatekeeping really annoys me. And I know, like, Simon, you're so hoity-toity coming in on your white knight horse or whatever it is. Well, I had to make a video about something, and unfortunately I need an opinion to make that video, so that's what it is. So just as a reminder,
Stop gatekeeping, you idiots.
there we go. The voice said, I don't know why it's funny I said by a mechanical voice, but it just is, just be nicer, right? And be kinder. We could use more of that in professional wrestling. And listen, there's people doing my job as well, within the sphere, who are doing this as well, and it sucks, and I hate it. And I'm not saying that I'm trying to be a different kind of a voice, just to balance that out. It is truly, truly how I feel. And please don't get this twisted. People always go, oh man, you're saying that I can't be critical. Nope, not saying that at all. You can criticize till the cows come home, but there's the line. And people step over this line, they start insulting the human being. I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. We're going to end it there. I appreciate you. Support Giulia if you want. If you don't, that's fine too. Now, of course, please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click the video on the screen to carry on your YouTube journey, and leave a comment below saying, Simon, you're losing your mind, which is very, very fair and very, very, very true. Otherwise, gridmind.com/Simon. You go to Simon to get 10% off. These are the fitness supplements I use, and there's mega deals on the moment, so check them out, or go to a GoGo Fitness. You code HOGO20. Go to patreon.com/Simon316, Simon316 on all social media to tell me I can't be a fan of that thing that you like. Simon J. Miller on TikTok, Simon Miller on Cameo, and ProWrestlingTees.com/Simon. Brand new t-shirt is going live very soon, probably live right now actually. Wrestlers commit crimes, because wrestlers really do like committing crimes. See you soon.